Welcome to the Two Average Jims podcast, the unofficial University of Georgia football podcast. My name is Jim McCarthy, and alongside my number one son and my idol, Jim McCarthy as well, we are super excited to be doing this. As most good ideas happen, this all happened in Athens, Georgia, as an idea in a bar. A lot of marriages have been born in a bar. A lot of other great things have happened in bars. This podcast started as an idea there, and it's grown, and we're thrilled to be coming to you live from the Travis Fulton Studios here in North Florida, home of the Stripe Show podcast, and Trav's just got this unbelievable place. So Jim and I get the opportunity to come in here and work this season. We're going to try it out and see if we don't burn the place down. Couldn't be happier, and a huge thank you to him for letting us have all this stuff. It's like we're at ESPN or something. It's really incredible if you look at what we're working with here. So huge thank you to those guys, and we have a producer, believe it or not, Jimmy Evans, who we've tricked into doing this, who we'll get into his SEC affiliations at a later date, but let's just say he's passionate, just like we are, and we're thrilled to have him. I'm not sure he's thrilled to have us, but I will turn it over to my number one son to start us on this journey. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jimbo, tell everybody what they're about to see and hear.
Got it. Thanks for that incredible intro, Big Jim, and just want to say super thankful, blessed, excited to be able to do this with you, to be able to just talk about what we're passionate about, the Georgia Bulldogs, everything we've been through. You're my hero. It's great to do this with you, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So, guys, this podcast really, we're going to share some inside stories with you from my time with the team as an equipment manager. We're going to share some of the fun side of the stories, from tailgating, being at bars after the games, to the more serious stories of being inside the locker room during an intense, maybe SEC road game where we're down by a touchdown and we need to figure some stuff out. So we're really excited to kind of lift a little bit of the veil back on Georgia football. We think we have a good way of kind of showing y'all how to do this, what our episode will look like. And again, want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Travis Fulton. For anyone that loves golf, that just loves sports in general, check out the Stripe Show podcast by Travis Fulton. He does not disappoint. So, yeah, just great to be here and be with you, Big Jim. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, like you said, I appreciate the thoughts there. Almost had a little bit of a dusty moment here in Studio TF1 over here with your comments. I will say the same. This was a goofball idea that's turned into something, and let's see if we can't make something out of it, pal.
Yeah, let's do it.
Going to be a fun season. We're going to be coming to you every Thursday. We do have some satellite ideas in mind, which we'll report on that as we move through the month of August. But every Thursday, we're going to be coming your way and talking Georgia football. The guest list, I think you'll be pretty pleased with. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Let's take them through. I think let's go from the how this started, how we got into the Georgia deal, right? Mm-hmm. Would that be good?
Yeah.
So years ago, as a kid, we grew up, since I was born, brainwashed as a Notre Dame football fan. My father, my grandfather, my brothers, my uncles, my even aunts once they went co-ed, cousins. I think I still have a cousin there today. Huge Notre Dame people. And so we were brainwashed with Notre Dame right out of the box. And we love Notre Dame, still love Notre Dame. And when Georgia played Notre Dame back in 1980, a national championship game, as a young kid at the time, I was 8 years old. And when you're little, you root for the team that wins, and Notre Dame won a lot, so we were always used to winning. And if we didn't win, my father would not be so happy. But those are for other stories and other days.
Mm-hmm. We'll have him on.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Got to have the third Jim on here. Georgia beats Notre Dame. So instantly, as a young kid, you think, okay, well, if they beat the best team ever, they must be the best team ever. And they had a player, number 34. You guys know who he is. Herschel Walker, and I just fell in love with the guy. Actually, so much so I tried to imitate him in the mirror, trying to learn how to talk like him, which is a little odd growing up in the Washington, D.C. area. But that was my start, my intro into just loving watching the Bulldogs and Herschel. And from there, we moved to Jacksonville, North Florida, about 20-plus years ago, and got into the whole Georgia-Florida rivalry and leaning more Georgia. It was like all about you got to pick one side. So I just went all crazy over the Bulldogs even more, and then Jimbo ends up going to school there. And kind of the rest has gotten even crazier with all the memories we've made in his 5 seasons.
Yeah.
So, Jimbo, what's your story there?
Yeah, I mean, my story obviously kind of piggybacks from yours. Grew up a Notre Dame fan because of Pops, and, just we all had a lot of you had a couple of brothers go there, and so we were a big Notre Dame family. When we moved to Jacksonville, like my dad said, you kind of had to pick your team, Florida State, Florida, or Georgia. Well, we picked Georgia because of what my dad said, where, he loved Herschel Walker. He loved that Georgia was able to get past the, giant Notre Dame when nobody really could back in the day. So I grew up a partial Georgia fan. They were my number 2. And then when times got serious to think about picking a college, basically there wasn't much to it. We visited Athens. I fell in love with it. And I was, lucky enough to get in and start a journey there with the football team, being an equipment manager for 5 seasons, which was incredible. I mean, we have a ton of great memories and stories to share with you guys, and just experiences and knowledge about the program, about the team, about little nuances that maybe not a lot of people know about, whether it's how the team travels, how much work goes in to the program Monday through Friday that nobody really sees, because most of the fans you just see Saturday. And we'll get into that more later. This episode is more for a purpose of telling you guys how we're going to do things, how we envision it going. But we will touch on that more later.
And before we get into kind of the format that we're going to be bringing to you every week on Thursdays, I think it's good to point out that I'm not bringing a whole lot to this. So this 2 average Jim's deal is more like a 1.5 and a half. I just want to rattle off a few things about the man sitting to my right, my number 1 son, and his time with the 5 seasons. So he finished his degree in 4 years and then stuck around for a 5th season, got a 2nd degree before he got out of there. And, man, was that just unbelievable. Just
incredible decision.
Oh, just to go out on top, but just national champion. He's got the ring. He's got all kinds of rings, all kinds of stuff. They treat him like a player. They treated us like he was a player. He had time on the field, throwing in practice, throwing pregame to the receivers and the tight ends and running backs, and it was just a special thing. But just take a listen to these stats real quick. So he's worked over 700 practices. His game record, 58-10. He has only 1 home loss in his entire career. I don't want to get into what that was. It was an awful day.
Very sad.
We were actually at Varsity Cup with Trav. 4 SEC championships, 4 SEC East championships, 1 SEC championship, 1 national championship, 1 Rose Bowl championship, 1 Sugar Bowl championship, 1 Peach Bowl championship, 1 Orange Bowl championship. 15 wins against AP top 10 teams, 5 wins against AP top 4 teams, 2 playoff runs, 2 natty appearances, and you all know we lost on that last play. Should have had 2 rings sitting here. Maybe he could have gotten one size for the big guy. Anyway, opening up with a huge game against Oregon. We'll talk about some of that in our sort of second half, but before we get into kind of the fun and where we're headed through August, we've got some fun announcements for where we're going to start the season for that Oregon game.
And real quick, I just want to say on those records, and obviously I was an equipment manager. I was not Stetson Bennett throwing touchdown passes or anything. Those records are attributable to a phenomenal program by Kirby Smart and the rest of the staff. We've got an elite staff, and I was very, very thankful to be a small part in that, because for your organization, for your program to run at a high level, you need everybody to, execute their job the right way and the proper way from the top down. So whether that's the head coach, whether that's the equipment manager, whether that's the nutritionist, whether that's the scout team guys, all. So we really were lucky enough for those 5 seasons I was there to really enjoy the best 5 seasons of Georgia football ever, of all time. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to just the program in general, and just that I'm, just so thankful to be a small part of it. But like you said, for the Oregon game, we will be in fabulous Las Vegas,
Nevada,
for what's going to be a great trip for Big Jim's birthday trip. We're going to add in some fun golf. We may visit the sports book. And I want to preface our gambling advice on this show is not professional gambling advice. You can call 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a problem. But just we're going to give you some good insight and I think some good picks. We may be heavily biased at times, but it'll be fun. We're going to start out in Vegas, hopefully get some cool content for you guys there, and hopefully we get a big Week 1 win against the Ducks.
17 we're laying.
Yeah, 17.5 I saw today.
17.5.
It's a big number.
Driving that number up. Dan Lanning, our former defensive coordinator, is out there now running the show. And if you watch and read a little bit about Dan, what do you see? You see what we saw in Athens, right? We see a guy, a lot of talent, a lot of drive, great communicator, a lot of great energy. I expect him to put that program back up to national prominence. It's a great program, right?
Yeah.
They've got a lot of success. But I expect him to take that Kirby intensity and that recipe and drive it home. And that Pac-12, they got a real winner.
Yeah, they do. And who knows how long they'll be the Pac-12 for. Oregon may move to a different conference. They may join a super conference. Who knows? But we will have time to get into all that. And I do think he's a great fit at Oregon. He's a young guy, busts his ass. He did very well at Georgia, obviously, architected one of the greatest defenses, if not the greatest defense of all time. But, we'll get into the Oregon game in depth in a later episode. I'm kind of leaning more towards a total rather than a spread pick. But, who knows? It's game 1. So I think, do you want to get into how we're going to break out the episodes now?
I think we should. So I think we're going to go, we talked about 4 quarters, make it like the game. And then it was kind of hard to kind of fit things into each quarter. So today, on the ride here, because we're totally prepared.
Extremely.
We've decided, hey, let's go with halves. That way we can have a little more flexibility about what we're putting here, what we're
Make
putting there.
Make it a little easier.
And we said, first half, let's talk about last game's week.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about around the SEC, what's relevant in college football. Recruiting, injuries, right? Coaching changes, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Maybe some transfer portal stuff, because, that kind of plays a factor all year now.
Yeah.
But, I think,
So we get into that, right? That'll be kind of first half. And then second half, we're going to try to keep your attention, which may be hard to do with the two of us. We're going to give it a shot. And we're going to have our special guest for sure in the second half. And we're going to have preview of the next game and get into all of that, talking about our opponent, right? Where are we at with the opponent? How do they look? Talk about where we're at as a team, right, from a standpoint of momentum, injuries. Is it a trap game? We're going on the road, whatever. And then get into the gambling stuff. And again, 1-800
Gambler.
If you have
I've
an
never
issue,
called.
Which I've not called either. And as Travis will remind you probably on his podcast, do not go with our picks. Although I will say when it comes to Georgia, we're
probably going to just take the dogs every time.
Yeah, it's probably going to be heavily weighted. So that's kind of the layout, right? And we're going to have
we're going to have some great guests on.
Yeah.
We'll have hopefully some current players, some former players, current and former staff members, to give you guys just another inside look, because what every kind of part of the program does, whether it's a position coach, a head coach, an equipment manager, a student assistant, a player, a scout team guy, and just how it all looks. So it'll be a really cool inside look as to kind of how the program runs. I'm hoping to have a couple of my equipment manager best friends on. Shout out to Georgia Equipment. The guys just reported for camp yesterday, and so the just a quick little tidbit, the managers get there a week early. You've got to get all the uniforms together, all the gear together. It's a long process. It's a grueling
That's a
training
week.
camp. It's a tough week. And then on top of that, you get through that tough week. Then you have 3 weeks of fall camp that don't get any easier. So shout out to all the guys going back to work. It's going to be a hell of a year. Keep grinding, keep going. Win us another natty. Shout out to Gage Witten, Will Wells, and John Mishad. They run the equipment program at Georgia. They're phenomenal guys.
Studs.
Taught me a lot. And if anybody listening is thinking about being a manager or maybe has a relative that wants to be a manager, definitely do it. In any sport, it is really a great experience and teaches you a lot of life lessons. So doing that on top of class, it's a really, really good thing. It's beneficial. But anyways, back to sorry for that sidebar, back to what we were on about the episodes and stuff.
Yeah, so I would say besides the guests, we're going to have some characters. We're going to have some people that you don't know when you see them for the first time, but you're going to know them as we move through the pod. You're for those of you that watch it, you'll be able to see these jokers, and there's a cast of characters we're going to bring into this. We got some cool merch that we're going to have.
Yeah, some other giveaways, we
got some cool giveaways. We'll have some contests. We'll be giving away tickets to ball games. You could join us at on the road when we set up a satellite on the road up in Athens, because we'll do a couple of those. And we're super pumped up, man. We've got some great sponsors so far. There's some great people jumping on board with us. It's exciting. It's taken on a life of its own. Just couldn't be happier to be sitting alongside my man here. It's kind of a dream.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, kind of a dream. Travis helped us make this thing happen. What else do you want to cover, Jimbo, on this first go-round?
I think we've done pretty good at covering everything. Like you said, I'm just really excited. It'll be a lot of fun. I think it'll be fun because the Dogs should have another great year. I think the schedule sets up well for us to have a great year. Hopefully we'll be doing this from a playoff location in December and January. Yeah. So I'm super excited. I know we got a couple people sponsor-wise that we want to shout out real quick. And Big Jim, I don't know if you want to roll into those. But
sure.
Like you said, we've got a lot of great people kind of jumping on board with us, and we're excited to have them.
Yeah, so there's folks in Athens that really pushed us to do this that we're excited about. The folks at the office up there, sports bar and restaurant that we frequent a lot. We're going to be broadcasting from there in the fall, it looks like. We've got our good friends at Glenn Fittich, who are over here on the sidebar here at the Stripe Show podcast here with Trav. The Onward guys, TJ and his crew.
Yeah,
just
Patrick.
Wonderful people. Jimbo's got the mailman hat on, and Patrick always takes care of us, and we constantly have some drip going for the Onward crew.
They're phenomenal.
Just great people, great products, even better humans. H2 advisory service company that's close to both of our hearts. It helps companies get in good position to sell, et cetera. There's a few others, and before we get totally into that stuff, we could probably save a few for the next time. But we're super excited about where this is going. Hopefully it doesn't bore you guys to death. We actually have a producer, Jimmy Evans, and we've got this unbelievable studio. So if nothing else, you guys could hopefully get a good product here.
Yeah.
And Jimbo and I will kind of fill in the gaps and hopefully bring you something that's worth listening to every week. We'll be coming out every Thursday, starting this month here in August. So today's the first one, and then every Thursday going forward. And I think, Jimbo, I think that's about it. Man, I'm pumped up, buddy.
I'm super pumped up. And again, just for all listeners, this is just an intro pilot episode. We told you about the structure. And, like my dad said, every Thursday, we're really excited. It's going to be great. You guys can find us on social media, on Twitter and Instagram, at 2AverageGyms, spelled out, TWO, Average Gyms. And, hit us up. Message us with any questions, anything you want us to talk about, anything you want to hear about. And also, we'd love any feedback. If you think it's terrible, let us know. If you think it's great, let us know. We really want to work at this to deliver a great product. We think we're going to have some fun with it. So, again, hit us up on social media, hit that follow button, and the podcast will be available on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you can find your podcast. And we're really excited about it.
That's it. Well, this is the first pilot. We've done a few sort of pilots in the past in local establishments that seem to go very well, which is how we arrived here.
Yeah.
So we started in a bar, and you end up in a first-class studio like this. Thanks again for all the guys that help us make it happen, all the people that push us to do it. I can't wait to do it. Jimbo, let's go, buddy.
Let's go. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. See you guys next time.
See you next time.